It's no secret that the rising number of school children being diagnosed with disabilities is costing taxpayers billions. But what's truly alarming is how quickly this issue has escalated and the questions it raises about where all that money is actually going. This growing financial burden, coupled with concerns over transparency and effectiveness, has sparked fierce debate across Australia. And here's the kicker. Despite the billions being poured into funding, many parents and educators feel the system is failing the very children it was designed to help. The coalition has announced plans to take a closer look at how private schools are using disability funding, spurred by an investigation that uncovered the skyrocketing costs of a federal scheme aimed at supporting students with additional needs. In some states, more than 1 in 4 children are now classified as having a disability, qualifying their schools for up to $43,000 per child annually. This year alone, taxpayers are projected to contribute $5 billion to the program, a figure nearly triple what it was just 10 years ago. What's driving this surge? According to recent data, diagnoses of conditions like autism and ADHD have risen dramatically, largely due to assessments conducted by teachers. But here's where it gets controversial. Are these diagnoses always accurate, or could there be incentives at play that encourage overclassification? Child psychologist Claire Rowe argues that while some children genuinely require extra support, others may be labeled disabled based on behaviors that don't necessarily warrant such a designation. For instance, a restless or defiant child might simply need different teaching strategies rather than being categorized as disabled. Yet, once a child is diagnosed, schools can access significant funding, money that doesn't directly reach parents, but instead goes straight to the institution. And this is the part most people miss. Even though schools receive substantial funds to assist disabled students, experts say much of it ends up pooled into general classroom resources. For example, a teacher's aide hired to support one student might end up spending most of their time managing behavioral issues among other children who don't qualify for federal assistance. This raises important questions. Is the funding being used effectively? Or is it being stretched too thin, leaving those with genuine needs underserved? Shadow Health Minister Ann Ruston emphasized the importance of ensuring that clinical advice guides decision-making around disability funding. She revealed that the Nationally Consistent Collection of Data, NCCD, which tracks information about students with disabilities, would undergo further scrutiny. Meanwhile, Senator Ruston and Shadow Education Minister John O'Doonium plan to examine how schools allocate the funds they receive. Their goal is to determine whether the current system is sustainable and equitable, or if reforms are needed. To put things into perspective, consider this. Only 4% of students were classified as disabled a decade ago. Fast forward to today, and that number has jumped to nearly 10%. That means 1 million Australian school children are now considered disabled under the NCCD framework. At the same time, private schools alone rake in $2 billion annually through this scheme. Despite this influx of cash, many principals claim they still lack adequate resources, while frustrated parents report that their children continue to fall through the cracks. This situation mirrors challenges faced by another major initiative, the National Disability Insurance Scheme, NDIS. Recent figures show that over 71% of new NDIS participants joined the program because of an autism diagnosis. An analysis by The Age found that 56,000 of the 78,600 individuals who enrolled in the NDIS during the 12 months leading up to June 2025 cited autism as their primary condition. By comparison, far fewer participants joined due to diagnoses such as multiple sclerosis, 1,077, cerebral palsy, 533, spinal cord injuries, 309, or Down syndrome, 84. Senator Ruston stressed that any reforms to the NDIS must prioritize long-term budget sustainability while staying true to its mission of providing essential support to Australians with disabilities. We remain committed to working collaboratively with people living with disabilities their families, and healthcare providers, she stated. However, critics argue that both the NDIS and school funding schemes suffer from similar flaws, a lack of accountability and clarity about how funds are spent. So where does this leave us? With billions of dollars flowing into disability support programs each year, why do so many families and educators feel let down? Claire Rowe points out that 6 in 10 parents aren't even involved in creating individual education plans, IEPs, for their children, and those who are often describe the process as superficial. Even worse, nearly half of teachers admit they lack proper training to support disabled students, and more than 70% of these students face exclusion from school activities. These findings paint a troubling picture. Federal disability funding to schools has nearly tripled in the past decade, yet outcomes remain dire. Could it be that the system itself is broken, or are there deeper societal factors contributing to the rise in diagnoses? One thing is certain. This is a conversation we need to keep having. Do you think the current approach to disability funding is effective, or is it time for a complete overhaul? Share your thoughts in the comments below.